Oh, we can't go live? All right. Hey, we had a little get started problem, so hopefully it's worked out. It looks like we're going. So anyway, thanks for joining us. Happy Friday. I don't know what's going on with the connection. Somebody please comment that you can see us, please.
Yeah.
Because I got a little error message on my end, right, when I hit the button. So
I see Richard's there. So
yeah, but he just said hello before the show started.
Yeah,
so,
Richard, if you're there, let us know you can hear us.
Anyway, hey, thank you so much for watching us. And it's Friday, and I'm so happy to be here. I'm off all next week. So I've got a couple more things left to do today. And then it is vacay. So anyway, Alan, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing good. Todd Downing says we are live. So thank you, Todd.
Good. Hey, thanks, Todd.
That's awesome. You know what? I'm doing good. I got my PowerPoint done for Long Beach.
I still owe mine. I haven't even started it yet. It was like, it's due 2 weeks ago. I'm like, sorry.
Exactly. I said, I'm still waiting on pictures. So I got it done. I just got to make sure, there's no grammar stuff and all that and send it in. I'm working on an article for Screenprint magazine.
Yeah, good.
So, it was going to be for the summer. I started it, but they have an opening and they want to do it for this month. And I'm going to get that in by next week.
Good.
And so, looking, got some projects to do and trying to tie things up at the end of the year. But,
Well, that's awesome. So anyway, thanks for joining us, and we're glad you're here. We would really love it if you would say hello. Let us know where you're watching from, and then also don't forget that the name of this show is Q&A with Alan and Marshall. What does the Q&A mean, Alan? I can't remember. Questions. And the answers come from us.
Well, not always. We have people listening, which are
that's true.
Sometimes
the viewers have even a better answer than we do, right? So
we got Richard Greaves, Todd Downing, and Dan Campbell, and Ghosted there. Those people are all smarter than us. They know more.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, it's not hard to be smarter than us.
No, not at all. And Charlie, there we go.
So anyway, please say hello, and then let us know if you have any questions, and that type of stuff. And then also, if you could just share that you're watching the show. We always love to get people to share that they're watching. And if you shared any of our marketing posts, thank you for doing that. I know a lot of people do that. So anyway, we've got some good topics today, I think. But as usual, we don't have to stick to those. If you've got something that you want to talk about or get off your chest or whatever, throw it in there and we can discuss that too, right? So
we want to know how's the year end looking up for you guys. And
well, that's part of our topics. Let's not get into that real quick, right? So anyway, say hey to some folks and then we'll run the GSG commercial. So Richard's here. Thank you, Richard, for joining us. Appreciate you. Todd's here, of course. You're live. Thanks for answering our question. Dan's here. Good morning, gang. And Ghost is here. Thanks for watching from Sweden. Charlie's here. Hey guys, he's from Tennessee. Ray's here. Good seeing you.
How you doing, Ray?
Simon's here. Good morning, gents. Here in sunny and wet Southern California.
That's okay. We're in gray and wet Michigan, so that's okay.
I'm in perfect weather Arizona. So
what? Ghost Deck, we want to wish you Merry Christmas. Make sure the reindeer are all ready to go. And
all right. So, hey, let's roll the commercial and we'll be back with some stuff.
Absolutely.
Hey, thank you so much, GSG, for sponsoring our show. We really appreciate you guys. And here's our awesome commercial.
Over the last 70 years, GSG has seen many changes in the apparel decorating industry. But one thing that hasn't changed is our dedication to helping our customers discover what's next. As we continue to lead the industry, GSG is here to support your business with industry experts. The latest innovative products, training services, and by delivering the perfect order.
All right. We got Beppy's watching, so thanks, Beppy. Appreciate you, buddy. And then Frank's here from SNS, so thanks, Frank. Appreciate you watching as well. So
love it when international, man. We got it. We got Sweden, we got Italy, and Virus up, Beppy and Virus Inc. is up there in a great part of Italy. I've been up there, maybe 30 kilometers from Switzerland, in the mountains and stuff like that. Super.
Yeah, well, we see his hiking pictures all the time.
I know it's amazing.
Yeah. All right. So without looking, you remember our first topic?
Oh man, it was
you looked. I saw you.
Industry rumblings. I didn't write them down.
Like not look, right? So
no, I knew what we were talking about. I just didn't know how to add it was. So yeah.
So Facebook is full of stuff this week. Custom Ink is closing down in Texas, and
and that's their last plant.
Yeah, and so we're going to just contract everything out, I guess. And also their big shop is closing down, bankruptcy in Illinois, right?
Second City, SCP, and Chicago. It's already closed. Yeah.
Yeah. So here's the thing, right?
Gildan replaced his.
Gildan replaced the CEO, right?
Some rumblings, good and bad on that. That some people are happy, some people are not. So,
right. Yeah. I don't have any stock in Gildan, right? I did at one point. I sold it though. So anyway, so I think that the topic here for everybody is, right, what's causing all this, right? Is this upheaval? Is this because of digital and DTG, DTF, right? Is it just people not managing their business well? Very curious as to what you guys think, right? Rumblings mean conspiracy theories, and we want yours.
And Marshall, we got to put out there are some things you and I cannot say on some of these.
Yeah, I can't talk about a lot of stuff just because
I've been into both of those companies. I know you have too, and so there's some things we can and cannot say.
Yeah,
but we'd love to hear.
That doesn't mean you can't. If you're watching right now, you can say whatever you want.
Exactly.
So, would love it if you guys would chime in, and I think this is an interesting time of year. It's the end of the year, beginning of next year.
Right.
So I think maybe timing is a little weird on this a little bit, and so just what do you guys think about it? And of course, in your neck of the woods, maybe some other folks have closed down or aren't as good at doing as well as they should. I know from the folks that I work with, right? People are having a really good year. I know a lot of people have, and we're going to get into a lot of that later, but but you always see these things that are happening, right?
Yeah.
Very curious as to what people think about it, and that type of stuff, right? So,
and this is not new, Marshall, to you, to me, to guys like Richard and Simon and Charlie, who have been in this industry a long time.
Right.
We have seen the biggest shops where they are fun to be in.
Fashions closed down. Well, that was 15 years ago.
And Champion, and I mean, go on and on of Giant and all them. It's just unreal. And then
so a lot of that is cash flow, right? And it's just not getting paid. And we do a lot of work for people who promise they'll pay us with a PO, right? But when they have issues or whatever, you still don't get the money, right? And then that kind of trickles into doom. It's like a spiral of death, right? Which is why I always talk about getting all the money up front. I talk about it all the time, right? If you get all the money up front, you're in such a better position than not, right? And so that's one of those things, right? And would love you guys to kind of give us your 2 cents on it, and we can talk about it a little bit, right? So while we're waiting, got some folks also joining us. So Mike's here. Good morning, Mike.
California. Good morning, Mike. Yeah.
And Brian Buffka's here. It's good talking with you the other day. Best ever tease. Morning from Peru.
Peru. Hey,
thank you for chiming in from Peru. Appreciate that. Charles is here. Hey, everyone, from Merry Christmas from Mexico. And Todd is blaming it on aliens, right?
I think you're right. It is aliens.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And hey, Todd, I very curious as to your thoughts on your Midjourney post with the buildings that happened earlier in the week, where you got really yelled at, I think, for posting something you were just playing around with. I thought it was really hilarious, the level of fear that was in some of those posts. I just thought it was kind of interesting, right? Curious about your viewpoint on it. So if you want to throw a comment in, that'd be kind of cool. If you didn't see it, Todd posted, he was trying out Midjourney. He did like a futuristic skyscraper building kind of an image. And I thought they were kind of interesting. And he just asked, hey, which one of these you like the best? Very innocent thing. And then he got like the equivalent of like hitting the head with a skillet from some people. And like, I just was like, that's just crazy. Right. And so I threw my 2 cents in, like anybody needs it, but threw it in anyway. And it was kind of an interesting thing, right? So, anyway, so we got some comments here. So Ray says, I see a combination of buying patterns changing and overbuilt networks, too many plants, high manufacturing costs, raw material availability, and transportation costs. Okay, that's very interesting. Thanks, Ray.
Yeah, I think there's some truth to that.
Yeah. Todd says, that was awesome, wasn't it? Artists are a strange breed. Yes, I understand that. I'm an artist. I am strange. And then people fear what they don't understand.
100%. Yes. Yeah.
As much as we feel that the people in the screen print world are fine, upstanding citizens and can be trusted, there are those that will take advantage. It's a people thing, not an industry thing. There you go.
Well, I don't think we ever said it was an industry thing. I think it's a business thing. No matter what industry you're in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, in every industry, there's good people, there's bad people, there's 100%. Nice people, there's shady people, there's there's truth tellers, there's liars,
there's guys,
whatever. And let me tell you, everybody behind the keyboard is fearless, and an expert. Which is why I hate with a passion Facebook, right? I just can't stand it. So anyway, so industry rumbling. So what do you guys think about that? Right. And, to me, it's very interesting. I think, it's the end of the year. I know people, just looking at everybody getting into print on demand, Printing United, there's supposedly 80 booths with DTF printers in them.
Right.
I haven't confirmed that, by the way. I just heard that in a conversation, but you couldn't throw a rock or swing a dead cat without hitting a DTF printer.
It'd be interesting on what the number is for Long Beach.
Yeah, somebody, what we should do is we should do a clicker, like walk around and count, right? Yeah. And not rely on the rumor mill, right?
Well, I wonder too, Marshall, with any big growth, and we're seeing this in plants and stuff, some of these companies where they're changing either the way they're doing business or they're just shutting their doors and stuff like that. We talk about the great technology that's out there, but now there is multiple things like, hybrids that are out on the market used, and Polarises and things like that, which, sometimes don't get talked about. And we're going, okay, are people jumping in without knowing their market?
Well, I can tell you from dealing with people for so long, I know people get the shiny object syndrome and they buy stuff and 100%. They haven't created the sales channel for it yet.
100%.
And they have what I call the field of dreams mentality, right? If we buy it, they will come, right? Yep. And that doesn't always work out.
It usually never works out. It might for the beginning, but never for long term. And then, but then we talk about, DTF is doing great. I mean, we know the successes in DTF and the people doing it, but there are also some failures that never get talked about,
Well, I personally know there's plenty of people who've been struggling with it for many different reasons.
Yep.
Some of it is the equipment that they purchased.
Yep.
Some of it is the technology. A lot of it, some of it's the supply chain. They have big issues with reliable consumables. That's really affected a lot of things where the ink or the film, even with the same SKU, isn't the same, and that produces a lot of misprints and errors and client mistrust and it's an emerging thing. And I think as things kind of shake out, right, there's gonna be some landmines, right? And it's not for the faint of hearted, right? No. And so
doesn't mean the technology is bad, but it is evolving. And, again, I'm going to go back to being the OG. I have seen this before. This is straight out of the new direct-to-garment handbook when it first came out, 100% on it.
Right.
So, yeah.
So, Richard says, Ghost and Brian, thanks for being loyal.
100%.
Dan says, with Custom Ink closing its last facility and going back to utilizing contract printers more so, it was mentioned that DTF could be affecting some large companies hard like this in a big way coming soon. But here's the thing. We can't assume that the reason why they're doing this is DTF because we're not in the room with Custom Ink, right? And I think it's silly for anybody to say DTF caused that. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and anybody who says that, unless they were actually making that decision, I think is just speculating, and that's kind of a dangerous thing to be doing, by the way. So, but it's interesting is just how I'll put it. Right.
Well, let's talk about, they're going to be, there's going to be more contracting out there. Now, let's talk about contract printing. Is this profitable contract printing?
Well, I've done that. Right. And so if you're in the contract game, it's all about understanding your data, knowing your numbers, and really having a process and a system that's repeatable, right? And if you can't do that, you don't need to be in it, right? So, right. So Todd says most people who jump into DTF would have a better chance of surviving jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge than printing DTF.
100%.
Very interesting. And US DTF Transfer says, I printed for Custom Ink for years. Maybe they found out that the screen print process wasn't so easy and is more costly for them to produce themselves. You might be thinking they're better at what they do and should leave that up to professionals. They're making billions off of contract printers, not me anymore. Very interesting comment. Todd says they all want a DTF printer until they have a crazy head strike and have to spend $6,000 on print heads. Yep. Too many large companies are investor funded these days instead of privately owned. Profits are razor thin. Any added cost, materials and fuel issues, or the injection of a disruptive technology, and investors shed risk. Exactly.
That's 100%. That's exactly it.
So if you think about a lot of companies, and we're seeing this more and more with some of the shops in this industry, get VC capital, right? And VC capital wants their return, right? Yep. And a lot of VC capital is just growing to the business to the point, and then they want to sell it. They're not interested in it being around 20 years from now. They don't care about that. They just want their trajectory, and then they want their money out of it, right? So,
well, there are some companies too that when it comes time to sell it, these private equity groups are coming in making an offer, and the banks are going, yeah, it's too low.
Yeah,
and they're just shutting it down.
Right.
So,
Right. Of course, I'm pointing out this is being discussed out there, and it stands to reason it could be a factor. Yes, thanks.
absolutely.
Scrimshaw Screenprint says, Merry Christmas, guys. Thank you. Happy holidays to you. Appreciate you.
Yeah, it's, and I think it goes back to just, Marshall, what you and I have talked about all the time. You've got to know your market. Are you being profitable? This could be a case of we have grown too fast without doing our homework, and in some cases probably didn't listen to people who know.
Yeah, right.
And and when you have a big ship like SCP, like Custom Ink and stuff, I feel so bad for their CEOs, because that's a hard decisions have to be made then. And unfortunately for some companies, the decision gets taken out of their hand going, sorry.
Well, it's an adapt or die thing, right?
Yep.
And, so you can look at the data and look at the numbers, and you're making an informed business decision about what should be the next move.
Yeah.
Right. And, and for a lot of our industry, right, we don't have stockholders, right?
Yep.
We don't have shareholders, but a company like Gildan does, right?
Oh yeah.
So replacing the leader, right? That's driven by the stock price probably more than anything, and so that the guy that left, and of course I don't know all the details of that either, because Gildan certainly isn't calling me and saying, "Hey, Marshall, here's what happened," but you just look at historically, the reason why that stuff happens is because they don't like the trajectory, the board, and they're just looking to do something different, because the only way you're going to get different results is to do things differently.
Yeah.
And so there's going to be a shakeup, and here's what's going to happen. And, and it's going to work out or not, or what. And, things may appear to be really dumb and weird, and then here's what happens, right? And so we just don't know, because we don't have a lot of the information. So,
when you have a company like Custom Ink, that poor CEO, had to make some tough decisions, and it's probably best for Custom Ink. We're going to do what we do best: online marketing, and have someone else print it.
Well, they're a technology company first.
Exactly.
Let's face it.
But the sad part is, you close the plant, there's over 400 people who are affected now, and that's tough. Yeah,
well, that's a sad part for those people, till you realize there's some shops in the Texas and everywhere else area that could, so right now you're looking for a production manager, you're looking for a printer.
May have it.
There's probably some people in the Dallas area, Flower Mound, Texas, who need a job, right? So,
Chicago area, there's people out there looking for jobs and all that. So yeah. And so that happens. It's sad this time of the year. We have to remember there's still people's lives affected. And yeah.
Well, it's a horrible time to lose a job, right? And
not good.
I've
been there.
I've been there as well, right? Yeah. So, if you've had a career, bad things have happened to you sooner or later. Yeah. All right. So Ray says this period of time is looking similar to the early 2000s era. Investors are gun shy. The market turns too fast. It's about cutting losses at the first sign of trouble, rather than bleed capital by fighting.
True. Could be.
Brian says, how many of the big companies are marketing companies, not printing companies? Probably a lot, right? Yeah. Look at Spotify. They don't do any of their printing, right? Printfly prints their own stuff, right? What are they? They're probably 250, 300 million a year, right? Something like that.
Philadelphia.
Yeah, I've been there. It's an amazing kind of plant. So, it's just, I think just looking at what's going on.
Individually owned?
Huh?
Is that still individually owned, Printfly? It was at one time.
I believe it still is, but I don't know.
Yeah.
So.
And I remember being there when it was a smaller company.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Dan says, oddly enough, as we know, this time of year is a typical time for downsizing.
Yeah.
Right. And Ray says, ooh, Brian, great point. The more about the image and what the money can generate than actual manufacturing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Right. You know, and if you just think about how everything used to happen, you know, like when I started my career, right, is way different than it is now, right? Everything is online. Everything is about technology and as fast as you can do it. I mean, my obsession with Midjourney is all about that, right? And it's just it's just the technology, right? It's mind blowing. And don't get me started about the new version that just came out. I can't stop playing with it. It's like I've been running, like, I can't even tell you how many hundreds of experiments that I've been doing lately, right? So anyway, so that's real interesting. So let's get to our second point, right? Which I think is,
well, maybe Marshall, on that same thing.
Yeah.
On there now, you know, now we're back to a thing with a bunch of companies. There's a bunch of used equipment out on the market too.
Yeah, well, there's going to be. I mean, you know, there's going to be probably an auction in Texas. I've been to that plant several times, and they own a lot of stuff. All that's going to be.
There's auto reclaim. There's automatics. There's manuals. Yeah. Same thing at SCP. You know, I don't know what's happening. It's still too new. I mean, I didn't get the call. I didn't know about it until the weekend. You know, a manager that I knew called me, and I was heartbroken for him. Yeah. But there's some stuff out there in the market. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. So our next topic is really, I think, a good kind of a segue from the first one, which is that this is a personal relationship based industry, right? And I'll tell you that your best customers, you know them, right? You know, like, you know what you've been there. Hopefully, you know their kids' names and what's their favorite dessert or whatever, right? You know things about them. And I think that kind of relationship is the reason why these folks stick around, right? And I think folks that just rely on a website, they just rely on an online store or whatever, you know, that's great. Okay. But if you're a giant company, you're going to be funneling all your ads and all that. And of course that works, right? Mm-hmm. But most of our industry is not that.
Right.
Most of our industry is just family businesses. You know, they've got probably, what do you think? Less than 30 employees, I think is probably the average, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And so the reason I'm pointing this out is, you know, I keep talking with folks about their marketing, right? And they're wanting to do Google AdWords or they want to do social media, whatever. I go, the younger crowd absolutely hates face-to-face.
Yep.
Any type of meeting like that, it's just really difficult for them to do that. And one of the things they keep telling them is, you know, when it's a relationship-based partnership, right, these people stick around.
Yep.
Right. And I've had a lot of the conversations I've had this week. Of course, it's Christmas and stuff. And I was talking with one of my coaching clients yesterday, and they were telling me the story about how they took little gift baskets through all their top clients. And, you know, they're just working on solidifying these relationships. And because that's how business is done, right? And it's always who you know, right? And if we can create a better experience for our customers, and we can show them that, you know, we're actual real people and we're not just a PO number you send by the email, this is how people stick around, right? And so I'm throwing it out here to you guys, right? And to you, Alan, right? How do you develop these personal relationships? What is a technique or a trick or something that you know is your go-to that works? How do you guys do that?
You have to be a solution to them. You know, make yourself a partner. While I am in sales, my best customers are long-term, and it's not because, you know, I'm cheap or anything like that. They call me for things that are outside of EasyWay scope all the time. What do you think about this? And it's because there's a relationship. It's about solutions. I'm not just a sales guy to them. They are a partner to me and to Easyway and whoever I'm representing at that time. And you've got to make yourself valuable and to be a partner with them. If you're just going to be a salesperson and just a sales company, well, you're a commodity then.
Yeah.
You have to be a partner. And plain and simple, you are going to sell yourself. But you can't just sell it and say it. There's got to be substance behind it. Selling is that tip of the iceberg.
Well, people want authenticity, right? And they can smell that slick used car stuff, right? Nobody wants that. But I'll tell you, one of the things I talk about all the time is that your customers, at the end of the day, they absolutely don't care about you at all, right?
Yep.
What they care about is themselves. They have problems. They've got issues. They've got challenges, whatever. And if you can solve that, if you can save them time, if you can save them money, if you can make them money, man, they're so stuck to you. It's not even funny.
Yep.
Right. So, but it's all about them. It's about how you deal with that relationship and how you're fostering that and pushing that forward. Right.
Well, and like you said, it's not just, on the sales thing. You are a partner. People still buy from who they know, like, and trust.
Yeah.
All that. When you have that relationship, I had a call from last night, one of my clients, we were just talking, and it was just about how the year end up there, what's going on for the holiday, what's going on with your kids, how are they doing, stuff like that.
Yeah. Right.
And, they're asking me about my personal, and it's not because we throw that stuff out there. You just know them well enough.
Yeah.
And that's what's going on.
Sure. So got some comments. So Ghosta says the best with a family shop is you can't get fired. A slave gets sold.
Absolutely. Oh, wow.
Ray says it used to be you could beat and shame your employees in a better quality and productivity. I miss the old days. Todd says people buy us. Yep. Alan Singer says hello. Hey, Alan.
Hey, Alan.
Mark says Custom Ink's warn statement explains the shutdown of the Texas facility. Right?
I haven't seen it.
So hey, can you post a link or
elaborate? Yeah.
Yeah. Brian says, I always remember the speaker at FedEx has said the 20, 30-year-olds are required to build up courage to call someone.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which speaker was that? I forget.
I forget also. I was there.
Yeah.
For us, we don't want to be their print company. We want to be their print partner.
Absolutely.
We want to develop products that are beneficial to both of us. Great.
And that's the other thing. You just can't be solution. And Todd, thanks for bringing that up. When I said, you got to be able to provide solutions. One, you have to be able to provide opportunities for them too. Here's what's going on. Here's the new designs. Have you thought about this? So yeah, it's not just providing solutions to their issues and their problems, but you are providing opportunities, being a partner in building your business. Because if they make money, I make money.
Yeah, yeah. Todd says, with crafters I work with, I show them how to set things up, create bundles, become more profitable because I know if they grow, we will grow. At the end of the day, for me, it's education first, and then make purchases. Great.
I should have said it that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, cool. So, I love building relationships. I've always been, I'm kind of an extrovert introvert,
Yeah.
I love talking and meeting people, but sometimes I'm uncomfortable with a new situation and I have to personally just push through that. Right. And, but I know at the end of the day, so one of my founding things I say all the time is, you must be present to win.
Yep.
Which is why I like going to trade shows, which is why I like teaching classes and doing things and going to see people and doing stuff, because that's how you learn. That's how you know. That's how you gather information and facts and all that kind of stuff. And that's why I like Zoom calls, video calls, or my preferred method of doing anything, just because we can see each other,
Yep.
So.
Absolutely.
But, you really get out there, Alan. I mean, you're gone 4 or 5 days at a time.
A lot of times, yes, a minimum of 3, but a lot of times it's 4 days a week. Yeah, I mean, you just have to. The art of making a cold call, of just stopping in, is still very much viable on it. I'm not just talking to screen printers, but I'm there with dealers and some companies. If I have time and I see a screen print shop, or I use Google near me all the time on, maps feature screen printers near me.
Yeah.
I have an hour in between appointments. Oh, there's a guy a mile away. Let's just stop by, see what he's doing.
Yeah.
And that's a great introduction. I may see him at a trade show. They may email me, but I get to throw him to one of my dealers.
Right.
And
Good.
yeah.
That's great. That's great. All right. Hey, let's we got a little GSG pulse that we want to share real quick, right? So let's get rid of this banner here. And we'd love for you guys to go to the GSG website, which is gogsg.com. And of course, they have their Pulse magazine, which you can click on right up here at the top. There's a banner, scrolling banner. Hold on. There's a scrolling banner that goes by, and there's a button you can click, and then you can get to the Pulse. And of course, the Pulse has lots of really great deals and new products and everything you need to run your decorated apparel shop with. And here's a great QR code that you can click, and you can watch a video from our good friend Mark. And so it's lots of stuff in there for you. So read the Pulse magazine from Go GSG and order stuff from them, and try them out if you haven't already.
And I'm going to say, now's the time to order. When you have things like emulsion and stencil removers, degreasers that are freezable, and you live in the north, you're going to want to stock up, because if I know a lot of companies under 28 degrees, they will not ship stuff over the weekend sitting there in a UPS truck. So make sure you're stocked up. And
not every. Let me tell you, I was in Milwaukee earlier this week, right? Yeah. And I really realized why I love living in Arizona.
Yeah,
it was like 25, and I'm like, oh my, why did I live here for so long?
We're 10 degrees warmer than normal, they said.
It was awful.
I don't even know.
Such a great trip, but I had to wear all the clothes,
Yeah, it's pretty warm here today. It's like 38 right now, which is normally in the 20s, but
30.
Yeah, 38.
Yeah, that's crazy. What is it here? Hold on. It's 55 here, so whatever.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Shorts and a sweatshirt weather. That's my thing. So, all right. Hey, next topic. You remember?
Joseph just posted something, and that's just for you.
Yeah, he's Sweden. Yeah. Did I get the recipe? What recipe?
Reindeer casserole?
I don't know. He sent me a recipe, right?
Lutefisk?
Hey, William's here. He's late for class, right? We don't take attendance. All right. So, hey, let's get to the next topic, which is the weird year is over.
Yeah.
Right. So I've talked to 8 gazillion people this year. Okay. And for a lot of folks, they've had ups and downs. For a lot of shops, especially the ones I work with, their revenue has been down, but they're actually made more money this year than last year, if that even makes sense. And it's because we're concentrating on profit. We're not concentrating on revenue. We're concentrating on profit. And so it's been a weird year for people. I think there's been lots of ups and downs. Personally, as a coach, right? I've had probably at least a half a dozen trips that I thought would happen this year. Didn't happen for one thing or another. It wasn't like a big coup or anything, but it's just things that happen, right? And so, it just, I'm happy to be focusing now on planning for next year. But this year has been kind of a challenging year. I think nobody would disagree with that. What do you think, Alan?
Yeah, it's been a weird year. I think not just for you, for everybody. You and I were talking, there are clients of mine that have been from January 1 to now, just nonstop busy. And there's 2, 3, 4 of them that I know of, and they're going, yeah, I don't understand it, but they're loving it. It's fine and good for them. Then there are some that are going, wow, it has been up, it's been down. My revenue's down, profits are up. But then they're realizing, wait, we've made some changes production. So are we really slower, or they just realize they have more production time? One company shut down their their Christmas orders for the end of the year at first week in December. Well, now they're realizing, wow, we got those all out. And I don't think they're realizing their own successes that they've put in there, but that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
And then there are others that, I know my own business, it's been up, it's been down. It just seems like I'm doing okay, but it's just been harder. There's been no patterns to put together, and we're just, been harder.
Right.
So yeah,
Well,
and then let's face it, in traveling, Marshall, I travel. I have not flown as much. I mean, airline prices are outrageous, especially with Delta out of Detroit. Me and my boss have talked because we fly out of the same stuff. We're going stupid. And why it's Detroit? When you look going out of JFK, like to Long Beach, it'd be $300. Detroit, $900. What's up with that?
So is it because of the plane isn't full? Is it because there's some sort of Detroit airport tax? Is it, what is the like?
Who knows? Yeah, that we don't know. But yeah, it is, so traveling has been, we're having to watch what we're traveling, how we're doing it. It's just been a very, very weird year.
Yeah. So have you guys moved to doing Zoom calls with people?
We do all the time. We do Zoom, we do stuff like that. But like going to Long Beach, it's going to cost a fortune to go. I still haven't made my flights. I'm looking through. It used to be, Marshall, I flew completely Delta everywhere. And now I've been having to go, I've been doing American, like, with you. You and I were coming back, I forget where, and Atlanta. And we were both on an American. We were in this club there.
Yeah, we got to hang out in the Amber's Lounge. That was fun.
Yeah, exactly.
It was actually like half the crowd in that bar was people we knew. It was
exactly. There was a lady. Remember, we were sitting there before we went to the club. We sat down at a restaurant and stuff, getting something to eat. And remember, there was a lady there who knew us and stuff like that. And she was just at the show. But then it's always like that in Sky Clubs. Like I think I see more people in the American Sky Club from the shows than I do in the Delta ones. But yeah.
Well, I lived on the other side of the country. I flew Delta because you had to, right?
Yeah.
And but now that I live in an American hub, that's why I fly, right?
Yeah.
So.
Now I've met more famous people on Delta than I have. Although what flight was it? Was I think coming back from Printing United? I was on a flight and Geraldo Rivera was in the seat in front of me.
Yeah, was he looking for Al Capone's vault?
He was not. I didn't even ask him about that.
You remember that?
I do.
Yeah. All right. Hey, let's get some comments in here, right?
Oh, wait, look at this. Where did I leave at the bottom? How did that happen?
Where did I leave off? Right. So let's see. Ghost says on Shirt Lab mail is chili. I didn't see that, Ghost. So I'll have to look. Todd says pulled ham. Think I've given that a go for Christmas.
Cool.
Great. Alan is pointing out some of what I'm seeing. Lots of details are harder right now.
Yeah, it just feels harder, working harder.
Davis says Merry Christmas, fellas. By the way, if you haven't seen Davis's elf video, right, you need to watch that. Davis, can you post the link to that? It's like the funniest thing I've seen this year.
Unreal. And I've seen a couple people in elf custom. What are you doing?
My favorite part of it is when it goes up to he's doing the whole thing with his dad, just like the movie. Yes.
Yeah.
All right. So Todd says this year we're going to pass on Long Beach to the cost. Doesn't help we did Disney last month in Mexico in February, right?
Absolutely. We're going to miss you in Long Beach, though, Todd.
Hey, are you still wearing flip-flops? You still got that streak going? Chris says, Merry Christmas, gentlemen. Thanks.
Chris from Canada.
Best Ever T says, I fly American.
No, he says I fly free on American.
I fly free in American. Okay, great.
All right, best ever. I don't think I know who you are. We have to get in touch. You got to call me or email me. I need to know how to do this.
Frank says United is best to see live fights.
Oh gosh.
And Lakeisha's here. Hey everyone.
Hey, Lakeisha.
Good seeing you. So anyway, so I'm so glad this year's coming to a close. I've got 2 things left to do today, and then I'm on vacation. So very excited about that, taking next week off. And so it's going to be kind of a fun thing to have some downtime and just goof off and read, and maybe I might do some painting, we'll just whatever, right? So gonna watch
forward to getting
watch some football, maybe. I don't know. Still pissed about FSU. But anyway, Mike says Davis is the bomb. His Christmas video is amazing. Yes. And then here is the post on Facebook, so please watch it.
Yeah.
It's just hilarious. All right, we got one last topic. Let's throw that into the mix, which is 2024 musings, right? So it's crystal ball time. What does everybody think is going to happen, right? So let's talk business. Let's talk economy. Let's talk whatever, right? How do you see next year going? What are you preparing for? What's going on, kind of a thing. We got Long Beach coming up. Maybe what are you looking for? Are you looking at new apparel, new supplies, new software, new equipment? What are you guys looking at? I think right now it'd be kind of an interesting thing. What are you thinking about for next year, Mr. Howe?
I'm thinking small shops, it's still going to be about automation and streamlining processes. I think it's going to be looked at and needs to be for smaller market shops. And I'm talking, for me, it's always auto reclaim. But auto reclaims are a big chunk. They're, 80,000 and up, maybe. There's some small market stuff. I'm actually an article I'm doing for Screenprint magazine. It's going to be on that. And pretty excited about that. But I think there's some things that are overlooked for small market. I'm talking people, one automatic, couple manuals, things like that they need to look at, and just to stay efficient and profitable. And that's still going to be key no matter what size
you
are. So I'm excited about, there's some newest stuff coming out. We have at our company coming out. I think there's going to be some others. It's going to be interesting. I also, one thing, Marshall, I've got to take this.
Okay. So I'll keep talking. So here's my prediction is I really think you're going to see more and more people go down the print on demand thing, right? It's just going to gain traction. Everybody that I know is really looking at all the different platforms and also how we can get print on demand stuff out. So this is going to be single head embroidery. This is going to be transfers. This is going to be DTG. This is going to be whether you do all this stuff yourself or you find a partner that you can do that with. I think you're going to see that more and more. And it just feels right, and we've been talking about the advent of getting to the one-piece order for a long time now. I've heard, our good friend Mark Coudray talk about it for 10 years easily. I don't even know how long he's been talking about that, but I think you're going to see more and more just how many online stores, getting online stores, these really help you sticky with what's going on and with keeping customers and stuff. Hey, he's back.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's all right. And
I apologize, everybody. I had a personal call I was expecting and had to take.
Yeah,
so
it's okay. It's all good. And so anyway, so let's see what everybody in the group here thinks. So Davis says downturn in bulk corporate spending. Yep. Yeah. So I think corporate are still going to be buying. They're just not going to buy 500. They're going to buy one-off stuff, right? So if you've got online stores, this is how it becomes better, because you can save that company money by not buying a whole bunch of stuff and have leftovers. They're going to be ordering for people, individual people, right? And I see that more and more. So just think about how, if you're not already set up for that, how you might be thinking about that, right? Lakeisha says she's probably going to go to the DAX in February. That's the Minneapolis one, right?
City, I believe.
Kansas City.
Kansas City, Lakeisha.
New equipment and preparing to offer live screen printing for clients. Okay?
I think, Lakeisha, I noticed. I love the DAX shows. Scott and Margie do a great job with them. But if you're looking for equipment, especially in screen printing, make sure the suppliers do your homework. Make sure they're going to have equipment there. It is a smaller show. It's very personal. It's awesome, but not always the equipment that you want to see there. So make sure of that.
Yeah. And I would also, if you're going to get into doing live screen printing, I would advise you to write a little mini business plan about how that's going to work. How are you going to sell it? How are you going to market it? How are you going to be profitable? What does it take? What do you need? Make a checklist of all the stuff you're going to have, all that stuff. So it's not just you thinking about doing it and you buy some stuff and then you realize you got to learn with a bunch of mistakes, right? So let's think about how you're going to do that. How are you going to cure the shirts? Live screen printing. Well, you can also do live heat pressing, right? People just want something cool and interesting, right? So can you make transfers and just heat press them right on the thing instead of screen printing them, right? So just be thinking about it, right? Not saying one's better than the other. Just know your market, know why you're getting into it, right? And I'll also tell you that if you think you're going to be doing live screen printing as a marketing tool to get orders, a lot of the folks that do live screen printing will tell you that that doesn't actually happen.
Right.
So it does happen, just not as much as you think, right?
Yep.
Todd says, I think more people are going to be okay with not having to do everything in-house.
Agreed.
Brian says more online direct to consumer and smaller orders. Yep. Frank says, what has history shown in election years? Okay, well, this is going to be, we've had weird election years. This is the weirdest election year we're ever going to have, bar none, right? So I don't even know if you can go have historic stuff.
I was just going to say, I think history goes out the window.
It's just the weirdest thing. And, the previous election, I took Facebook off my phone just because of the political stuff, and it's never gone back on. And I'm really just super worrisome about the on both sides of the aisle, the bile that's going to come up about everything. I just can't even already stand it. Right.
Yeah.
So, all right. Lakeisha says, yep. KC. Good. Okay. Todd says Chicago DAX seems to be the biggest of the DAX shows.
It is, but still the same thing applies.
Yeah.
I think.
I think I have one more here. Richard says live printing is theater performance away from home.
Oh, good point. That's awesome.
Yeah. Great. So you got to bring everything. So,
yeah.
And then of course, what could the bad thing happen, right? You're outside and it rains, whatever, right?
I was just going to say, when something goes wrong, when that screen breaks, where there's a problem and you don't have the fix right there at your place.
Yeah. So are you making several sets of screens, whatever. It's, if Murphy's Law, we'll be tagging along with you on that trip, I think.
To quote Allie Banholzer, have your checklist.
Yeah,
and you better have it and check it twice and make sure it's there, because you cannot forget anything.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a 4-color design. I only brought 3 squeegees. That's a problem.
Yeah. So 2024 musings, I think there's going to be a lot of people interested in automating processes, automating software, automating their workflow, just different things. I also see the trend of outsourcing things like marketing or the art department. That's going to continue.
Yep.
VAs are continuing to be huge, I think.
Big.
More and more people. I think I talk to probably 4 people a week about virtual assistants, about how to do it. At least it seems like that's a common conversation for me now. So if you don't have one and you're interested in that, happy to chat with you. I know like all about it. I also think that you're going to see some interesting things with software, right? I know a lot of people who haven't been pleased with some of the software titles out there, and I think you're going to see a lot of people looking to jump ship. The reason I say that is I talk to people constantly about they're looking at all the different software titles because they don't like the one that you're using. Not mentioning any names, but
yeah,
it's a thing right now, and everybody's looking at new software.
Yep. Marshall, real quick, because we're running out of time. Yuri, your first time. I don't think you've been on here. Yes, you can ask a question. That's why it's called Q&A.
Yeah,
please do. Let us know where you're from and what your question is.
Right.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but yeah.
Right. And right. Hold on. Todd says, "Bring everything but leave sweet words at home."
Yep.
Thanks. That's what she's working on. Braden's here. Hey, custom ink outsourcing everything now. Yeah, we've been talking about that.
Yeah.
Well, production at least.
Yep.
Right. So, all right, cool. And so we're winding things up, right? And so anyway, I got a couple things I'm going to throw in here.
Well, Marshall, I think one other thing for the new year and amusing, we saw this year a bunch of acquisitions, and I wouldn't be surprised to see more next year.
Yeah. Well, you're going to see a lot of shops buy other shops. You're going to see other brands buy other brands.
Yep.
I think, and also I think people, grow their sales by acquisition. That's still going to happen, right? It's very interesting, right? So, a couple of things. First off, happy holidays, right? Yep. So, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. Hanukkah's over, but Happy holidays anyway. Happy New Year, and we want to get in there that we are going to have a show next Friday.
Yep.
Right. So, so look for that. Kind of a thing. And I don't know if we're gonna do our annual show where we're drinking during the show, because we always do that on New Year's Eve, but
a little far away.
Who knows, right? But anyway, so we want to make sure
all I know is that first year we did it, I was drinking mimosas and I went through a whole bottle of champagne during an hour. It's not a good show. Not a good day for me.
Yeah, actually, I thought it was hilarious. So, you need to be drinking on live TV more often, Alan. So,
yeah, and if you know me, I don't drink a lot. So, yeah, 3 or 4 drinks, and after that, I'm pretty much gone.
Yeah, right. Which made a really good show. All right. So, anyway, thanks a lot.
Did something.
I'm sorry.
Braden just posted something.
Okay, you can't click if I click.
Sorry.
We're seeing restaurants and bars getting acquired or going out of business in our city, like 7 or 8 in the last month, which is a ton for our size town.
Yep.
I'm sure it'll be the same in many labor-intense industries.
Yep,
exactly.
Absolutely.
So look for that, right? And so you, as the apparel decorator, right? They get acquired, they do the thing. Now they're going to rebrand. It's a marketing. They need all of the stuff, right?
Yep.
So find out who's doing that, and then maybe you can swoop in and be their partner, be their savior, right? So,
and if you already have that business, don't assume you're keeping it.
That's right.
Build that relationship.
Yeah. Frank says, "Have a great weekend, guys, and Merry Christmas." Yes, Merry you Christmas, too. So, with that, we're going to wrap it up. So, anyway, thanks for watching the show. I would personally like to wish Alan here a Merry Christmas, and hope He has a good one, and I know he's got some family stuff going on. And
Actually, a phone call came through. Everything's good.
good. So there's I couldn't do the show without him.
Oh,
Right, we're partners in this
and
crazy thing, and
I want to
for a show that just happened for a crazy on the whim thing, it's lasted a couple years, and who would have thought, right? And so
I want to thank. I had, especially in November, I was gone, missed a lot. Thank you, Marshall, for picking up the slack. For the people that have jumped in, for Richard, who's always there. We can't not thank Richard Greaves enough.
yeah.
How many times has he last minute, jumped in for anything we've needed?
Yeah, he's the GOAT. That's why we gave him the jacket last year at Long Beach.
Yep, Brian has jumped in, and really appreciate it, Davis. Thank you very much. And it seems like I've been gone more, and you have no idea how much I appreciate that. Thank you for your friendship and everything. Our guys in the academy, what great people and contacts, and you know what, GSG.
Yep.
We cannot say enough, to Mr. Granberry, to Beth in the marketing department, to Mark Soldonic, to Liz Beavers, to all of them. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And what a great
it's gonna be a fun next year, and we're winding things down. And next week will be the last show of the year. So don't know if you guys are working or not. I'm on vacation, but I'm tuning in just for this show. So I think it's gonna be a lot of fun, and we appreciate everybody, and can't wait for 2024. So anyway,
be safe, everybody. Have a great holiday, and we'll see you next week.
Talk to you soon. See you.